Welcome everyone. So, let's get into it. We got Victreebel and Weepinbell, and these guys are super kick-ass. So, big flaw with a lot of grass poisons is that a lot of them are just worse versions of Venusaur in vanilla games. Vileplume. Victreebel is technically not worse because it is faster. Actually, no, it's not in vanilla games. Never mind, it is slower, so it's also a worse Venusaur. Although it is a little bit stronger, but overall, Venusaur is the best of the grass poisons in vanilla games. With Vileplume and Victreebel being kind of just worse versions of Venusaur, and then Amoonguss and Roserade being their own Pokemon that aren't really that overlapping. But yeah, all of those mons are now a lot more even in terms of power, which is really awesome. Hold on. Let me just go to my list. So let me just make sure I'm not missing any. I believe it's just those guys. Grass, poison, grass, poison, grass, poison. Come on. Yeah, just 5 of them. Venusaur, Mega Venusaur counts as the same one. Vileplume, Amoonguss, Victreebel, and Roserade. So I had to make it so they're all unique from one another. So obviously Venusaur is very bulky. It has Solar Rush, and then the Mega has Grass Guard, then it has Floral Shot and Thick Fat. So, and it's a mixed attacker as well. These two are the only mixed. Actually, I guess Vileplume is also technically a mixed attacker. Actually, oh, never mind. They're all mixed attackers technically. Never mind. But yeah. I had to make it so that Victreebel is also faster than Venusaur now, because Venusaur is a lot slower, a lot tankier, and Victreebel doesn't have. So I opted for Venusaur to be the grass poison with Solar Rush because it makes the most sense. Vileplume makes no sense for Solar Rush because it is literally meant to be a nighttime flower, like it grows in the nighttime. The Dex literally talks about how they hate the sun, so Solar Rush makes no sense on them. And then as for Victreebel, it's a carnivorous plant, so yes, it can learn moves like Solar Beam and stuff, and Growth, because I'm assuming you could guess it's probably a little bit of photosynthesis and then also, eating meat and stuff, but it doesn't make sense to have an ability based on the sun if you're a fucking carnivorous plant. That doesn't make any sense either. So I removed it from both of them. And Victreebel has amazing abilities. So Vileplume is tanky. You can go watch that video. It's a lot tankier on paper, although Victreebel does have Intimidate. And Vileplume's main good stuff is the moves and the Merciless and Unaware. So, Vileplume has stuff like Spore and Enchantment and Lunar Dance and all this really great utility, for boosting moves. And of course, it is just as especially strong as Victreebel. The difference is Victreebel has access to adaptability now. So yeah, Victreebel has adaptability and Intimidate. Both of these are excellent abilities and really keep it up on par with the other grass poisons. Probably the most fun one, probably my favorite of all the grass poisons, personally. I just think it's really cool. Super great buffs here. So it's a lot bulkier. I did give it 100 base HP. It's not that big. It's a man-sized pitcher plant, but I think that HP can also be like girth. That sounds weird, but like fatness. Like if they're big, like fat. So he's 5'7" and he's pretty light, but his whole thing is like eating Pokemon. Like they're a pitcher plant. They have a giant belly full of acid that they digest it in. So I think having a large HP stat does fit. Also, I had to make it bulky somehow. So it was going to be at least base 90 HP at the very least. And I had some extra base stat total points. So I was like, why not just make him bulkier? It helps with Intimidate and stuff. So yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, Adaptability, Intimidate. I think both of those abilities fit really nicely. Obviously, yes, technically he's an ambush predator, so Intimidate doesn't make sense. But you can always use the argument that they digest. Sorry, that they intimidate foes. They don't intimidate prey. That's the logic there, at least in my opinion. I'm pretty sure there's already intimidate Pokemon that are predator animals, so it's not really a big deal. Or ambush predators specifically. So, God, it's so strong. So yeah, it has access to Adaptability and Intimidate, and of course in this hack you do have access to infinite usability capsules. So you can easily just switch between your abilities as you need it. So if you need Intimidate for a fight, you use Intimidate. If you need the power boost, you use Adaptability. Adaptability is pretty strong. It's not the strongest thing in the world. It's very good, but Grass Poison Dual Stab isn't the greatest coverage, but it's still very strong. 105, 115 base offenses. You also have access to priority in Leaf Flurry, Sludge Shot, and Seed Shot, as well as First Impression and Sucker Punch. But for adaptability boosted priority, you have Seed Shot, Sludge Shot, and Leaf Flurry. So you have 2 special priority moves, Dual Stab, and then physically you only have Seed Shot. But physically you have the TMs of Sucker Punch and First Impression, so makes physical priority pretty good too. It does have less physical attack because Victreebel is a pitcher plant, so the way it does damage, it has basically 3 main ways to do damage. Number 1, it shoots a bunch of gross fucking acid at them, and it does say that it's acid. It's the hardest object will melt into nothing and all that stuff, so it's super corrosive. It melts the prey whole, which makes sense, given the the fact that it's a giant pitcher plant, so it should have a pretty good special attack stat. And then I kept its attack unchanged because I think 105 is a pretty fair number. You know, they can whip their shit around, they can attack you physically, but their special attack should be a bit stronger in my opinion. Otherwise, I could have made it equal 110, 110, but I just prefer the logic of it having more special attack. So that's really strong. And then the speed is unchanged because 70 is like already on the higher end for what it should have anyways. It's a weird mon. I could have made it slower and bulkier, but nothing above like base 85 defenses makes sense in my opinion. So that's the most I would have changed. But I think with the 100 HP, it's base 80 bulk is very, very, very solid with Intimidate and something like Assault Vest. You can be really tanky that way. Intimidate, Assault Vest, Giga Drain type sets would be really awesome. Yeah, you're basically just choosing between the utility or the offense. I'll cover the nitty-gritty awesome move pool options they have now, but they have access to Z Omni boosting moves with Acclimate and Powder, which are really sick, and they help it become super quick and super strong. It can sweep really nicely with adaptability on those sets. And Acclimate is super sick, but I'll talk about it now since I brought it up. Basically, I just keep getting text. Why is she asking me? Sorry, y'all. I literally just said I'm gonna. Okay, just. Now I have to refocus back up. Acclimate. So Acclimate gives them +1 to all of their stats, which is incredible. But the most important part is that it actually changes your type to match whatever type is on top of your moveset. So you can actually get adaptability stab on any of your moves. So coverage-wise, you don't have the best coverage because they are Victreebel. Not a lot of coverage makes sense on them. But I did give them, so they have tons of bug coverage. They have like Siphon, which is like bug-type Draining Kiss almost, Signal Beam, First Impression, Lunge, Finishing Blow. Finishing Blow is like Felt Stinger, so they get +3 attack, and it always crits. They get +3 attack if they kill something, of course. Bug Bomber, I thought it's kind of a cute little move because, you know, they eat bugs, so I thought that was kind of cute for good coverage as well. Bug Bomber is very strong. It's 25 base power per hit, always crits, 90% accurate, special move. So that's essentially 113 base power. That's the bug-type version of stuff like Surging Strikes and Turbo Cannonade. Yeah, Signal Beam, U-Turn, First Impression, Lunge for bug type coverage. Obviously, you have tons of amazing dual stab options, which I'll cover. Dark coverage with stuff like Knockoff and Dark Pulse and Sucker Punch and Hell Thrust. Ground coverage with Earth Power. I could give them Bulldoze too, but it feels kind of a little bit weird. Rock Slide on the physical side is excellent, as well as Rock Tomb. So those are nice for physical movesets. Yukos of Weather Ball, which can turn into any type. In the weather, so you know you can get like water type or fire type depending on your team. Fire type is nice for the sun. Obviously you don't have a sun boosting ability, but you know you still function pretty well in the sun with stuff like growth and whatnot. You have really you have so much cool stuff. Natural Gift becomes any type in the game at least once, because of the way it works. It is a 110 base power special move that again becomes any type in the game depending on your berry, but that's only a one-time use move. Very, very strong stuff for coverage though. Especially with your limited coverage, you're definitely gonna be wanting to run Natural Gift pretty often, just to hit stuff, you know, on special sets with that with adaptability. If you don't have Earth Power yet or whatever it is, or you know whatever you need to hit doesn't get affected by your stabs, and also is immune to Earth Power, which is pretty common. I mean, Grass Poison is not the greatest dual stab combination, so it's not terrible. It does have some cool stuff, but it's overall not the best dual stab. What else? Nature Power turns into any type. Well, not any type, sorry, excuse me. Nature Power can become Thunderbolt, Psychic, or Moonblast, depending on the terrain. Of course, Grassy terrain is good too, but it's useless on Victreebel. You better try Energy Ball, Giga Drain, or something. Or all the other really strong grass type moves. But yeah, you can get Thunderbolt or Psychic, especially because Electric Terrain is a TM, and there are a lot of Pokemon with Volt Rush, and then Psychic Terrain has a lot more Psychic Surge mons, so it would be pretty cool to run. You know, to get Thunderbolt especially is the best one, so Thunderbolt is pretty sick with Nature Power. Yeah, Earth Power, Health Thrust, you know, you got solid coverage. It's not great. Also, Takedown physically is really important. That's a fighting type, 110 base power move, 100% accurate, 20% recoil. That's alongside the TMs like Wild Charge and Play Rough and stuff. Which obviously Victreebel doesn't get those, but he does get Takedown. I think that's pretty solid on him. Very solid, actually. Very good coverage. And you can run that with adaptability, so you can become like a ground type with Earth Power. You can become a fighting type with Takedown. It's very customizable. Whatever the order of your moves is what you are. Also, Z Acclimate plus Finishing Blow is really good because you get that stab on it. Then you can use, Power Trip is what I meant to say. Z Acclimate plus Power Trip is incredible. Excuse me. Because Z Power Trip sorry, Z Acclimate will give you +1 on your stats, and then you become a Dark type from Power Trip, and then Power Trip becomes very powerful, and Power Trip is actually buffed to give you +1 attack each time you use it, so you get even stronger. The only downside is that it's 3 PP, so you can't sweep the entire team, but you can sweep half of it. And by the time you use up all 3 PP, you'll be +4 attack, so you'll be killing the rest of the opponent as long as you cannot speed them, or you use your priority moves like Seed Shot and stuff. Actually, in that case, you do Sucker Punch. So like Power Trip, Sucker Punch. The Acclimate is a great set. You get that stab, adaptability, dark, power trip. It's really strong at kills, even resisted hits, because that +1 attack with the adaptability boost and the 120 base power, it's very strong. You're also very tanky. Of course, the Acclimate sets are also pretty good on Intimidate, but that's all like very late game stuff. That's only for like the last few boss fights in the main game, the League, the Elite, the Champion, and then you have like all of the post game, which is pretty extensive, but it's mostly just to give Victreebel something cool for the late game, end game, rather. But you also have Z Powder, which can do the same thing, just doesn't change your type. Powder is actually arguably a better move in some cases because Powder is priority and turns any fire type move that's about to be used into nothing. It makes them deal damage. It only has 3 PP because I don't want people. I think I gave it 4 or 5 actually. I just don't want people clicking that 10 times in a row and fucking making a fire type mon kill themselves because they're too stupid to stop pressing a fire move. Yeah, I don't know how good it is. It might honestly not. Just keep clicking it. I'm not positive. So yeah, Powder. Either way, Z Powder is really strong. Get that +1 to all your stats. And that's very early on, level 54. That'll be early Pony Island, maybe even the later end of the Aether Foundation, most likely. So you can have that for some, like Luzamine, those kinds of fights. You can have a Z Powder for, and you get Power Trip as well. Very, very powerful stuff right there. Probably should move Bug Bomber and Power Trip out actually. I had these before I buffed Power Trip. That's why, or I put it there before I buffed Power Trip. The Power Trip can go here. Actually, I was moving a couple moves around before I started recording because, again, I did these like a couple months ago, so a couple moves changed since then. Let's just put Bug Bomber and there we go, much better. So, you have a lot of great utility. That's the thing. Like you guys, like these mons have such good utility as well. They have stuff like Parting Shot plus Intimidate. They have Toxic Spikes. They have Stockpile. They have Recovery. They have Toxic. They have Venom Drench. They have Clear Smog for totems. They have so much great utility. Strength Sap is incredible. Ingrain is almost like is like Calm Mind now. So Ingrain gives you a Calm Mind boost, but it drops your speed by 5. But it locks you on the field and gives you reliable recovery. So, consistent recovery each turn, which is pretty cool. So, it's like a different version of Calm Mind almost. So you can use that with special sets, which is great. With Intimidate, you boost your special defense. Intimidate drops physical attack. It's pretty good. Stockpile plus Swallow plus Spew Out is a great combo. Spew Out is like Acid Spray. Acid Spray and Spew Out both drop special defense by 4, and they are poison type. Acid Spray is 50 base power. Spew Out is 100 to 300, depending how many stockpiles you have up. So that's really strong. And then Swallow is actually buffed to heal you. So Swallow is buffed in 2 ways. Number 1 is priority, and number 2, it always heals by 100% HP. So even if you only click stockpile once, you heal to fully, and you heal fully. When that works great with that works great with stockpile. Right? Yeah, that works great. All right, that's the point. It's a really good move. Our Aromatic Mist is like Sweet Scent. So Sweet Scent drops special stats by 1, and then Aromatic Mist drops special stats by 2. So it's just a superior version that only certain Pokemon get. Obviously, I think Aromatic Mist fits them very well, as their whole thing is about attracting prey with their smell. Sweet Scent is like on most ones that like don't really make that much sense. Like they make vague sense, so I think it's Sweet Scent. Then Aromatic Mist is like, okay, this mon is known for like smelling a certain way or something. And if I felt like they needed it, because it's a great utility move. Belch is buffed. Belch gives +1 special attack now. So as long as you consume to bury that fight, you're getting +1 special attack for the rest of that fight, and it's 120 base power, 100% accurate. That's a really awesome move with like speed boosting moves such as Agility plus Belch. Very, very powerful stuff right there. Belch plus Giga Drain is really cool too. You can do so many cool things with Victreebel. It's so versatile and strong and cool, and I would love to use one. It looks really cool. I need to cover the pre-evolutions because I haven't done that yet. So excuse me while I do that. Yeah, obviously adaptability, and adaptability could kind of make sense on the pre-evolutions, but yeah, I don't really see it. I see adaptability on Victreebel mostly because like I know they're also carnivorous plants, but I don't know. I just also it's like a power thing. Like I don't want them to have adaptability, and then their other ability is going to kind of suck, you know. Because no other ability I could give them is as good as adaptability as the pre-evolutions. Intimidate is, but Intimidate doesn't make any sense until Victreebel, so I opted to give them 2 unique abilities with Metabolism and Unnerve. Unnerve is like a baby version of Intimidate. Unnerve is very good early game and mid game. Not only does that disable citrus berries, which are on literally every regular trainer, like the non-boss fights will all have like citrus berries. Ace trainers and stuff will have better items, and then of course the boss fights have like totally custom sets, but the trainers will have just citrus berries just as a filler item, because they should have berries, because why don't they have items? It's stupid. You know, you're not gonna have like random youngster Joey pull out weakness policy on you. That's stupid. Late game, you are gonna have like EV trained ace trainers and stuff, but that's only on Pony Island most likely. That'll be for another video, so let me not waste too much time. The point is, Unnerve is great because it disables a lot of very common berries. It disables healing berries. It also disables stuff like what's the grass berry called? I'm blanking. Rindo. It disables stuff like Rindo berry or Kasib, I believe is poison. Kasib is poison or ghost, and then Kebia is poison or ghost. Kasib or Kebia. I think Kebia is poison and Kasib is ghost. Let me check. Kebia is poison, right? Come on, can you tell me what it does? Jesus. Yeah, poison. Okay, cool. Making sure. I usually know my stuff with that, but sometimes I mix them up a little bit. So that's really cool. All right, Unnerve is very useful. Again, you do have access to infinite usability capsules, so these abilities are situational, but you can always optimize your ability for whatever fight is coming up. So if you know that they're gonna have a berry that you need to bypass, then you run Unnerve and they can't eat their berry anymore. It's a good ability, all right? It's pretty solid. They also have very solid stats, so they are a little bit faster as pre-evolutions. They have less physical attack because like why the fuck did they have such high physical attack stats? I know that like they have razor leaves, but come on, like that's a little too excessive. 75 is generous for Victreebel, excuse me. So yeah, it has they are higher special attacking stats as a whole as a line, but Victreebel has 10 less attack than special attack, and then Weepinbell and Bellsprout have 10 less physical. I meant to say physical attack, excuse me. I'm kind of all over the place right now. I hope you guys can forgive that. Yeah, Leech Life and Siphon are great. Leech Life is a 60 base power and heals by 100% HP, so that is a buff. Siphon also is the same. Also, let me make a note to myself to hold on. Change big root. I need to nerf that. I made it double the HP recover, which sounds really awesome, but it's kind of overpowered, especially because you could probably get multiple of them, so it's just kind of not. It's too much. Probably drop it to like a more sizable, more reasonable buff, but that's not related for now. Yes, also, if you are new here, all of the moves have changed. You can check those out in the description below. There's a very detailed document detailing all these changes, and you can see the moves there. It's very nice and organized and very easy to look at. And I also have stuff for like all of the new abilities. There's 28 custom ones. Speaking of, I can shut up and actually talk about the Pokemon. We have Metabolism, which is a new ability. It works like, can I click on it, please? It works like Cheek Pouch does. So essentially, you get 30% recovery for any berry you eat. So for early game, that's great. You can run Endure Pattaya Berry or Endure Select Berry and get speed or special attack, and then you run that with Metabolism, you get healing back, and you can run that with Giga Drain and heal up even more, and you're at +1 special attack. It's very cool. You can also just use that with simple stuff like Citrus Berry just to heal up a bunch. So it's really useful, good ability. They do have pretty solid bulk, not great, but Bellsprout not so much, but Weepinbell is some solid bulk for the mid game, and he does evolve pretty early at level 32, which again is very early given how strong Victreebel is. I could have done 34, 35, but Weepinbell is not that great, so I wanted to make it evolve a little bit earlier. So that'll definitely be evolved in time for Olivia, which is awesome. Yeah, Strength Up is incredible on Victreebel. You have so much moves. You definitely suffer from 4 moves syndrome a tiny bit, but honestly, it really just depends on how you want to run it. You could run the more offensive variants. You could run the bulkier variants. You always have these great TMs to reteach at any time. You have Frenzy Plant and Leaf Storm, which are 150 base power moves that drop your special attack and attack by 2 respectively. And then you have Seed Flare, which is based virtually unchanged. I think it's slightly more accurate maybe, or slightly stronger. Actually, no, Seed Flare was the one that was actually on par with the other new moves, but all the other inaccurate moves are on par with Seed Flare. Power Whip, excuse me, is great, 90% accurate, 120 base power. Has I believe a 30% chance to drop defense as well. Sludge Wave is very powerful. That is 110 base power, 90% accuracy, and always drops speed by 1. Sludge Bomb is reliable, 95 base power, 100% accurate. Great move right there. Parting Shot Intimidate is great, like I said. Chloroblast is a strong grass type recoil move that's special. So it's like special wood hammer essentially. Acclimate's already incredible, like I talked about. Ingrain already talked about sleep powder, and yeah, so sleep powder is consistent. Sleep moves are all consistent besides the ones that make you drowsy, but other than that, they are all consistent in that they last 2 turns. So if Victreebel is faster than the opponent, it gets 1 turn to set up for free, and then they'll wake up on that next turn. So for example, you outspeed the opponent, they're asleep, you connect that sleep powder, which is now 85% accuracy, so that's pretty solid. You can also run that. You can also run wide lens on Victreebel if you want to run sleep powder. Wide lens plus like the slightly inaccurate attacking moves like power whip and sledge wave and all that stuff is pretty good. Yeah, there's so much awesome stuff here. Toxic and Venom Gems is great. Venom Gems is buffed to do -3 attack and speed and special attack. Tickle's good for totems, -1 attack, -1 defense. Also just a good move in general. Toxic Thread is great. Z Toxic Thread also gives you an Omni boost, but you would have to keep Toxic Thread from level 20 until like mid-50s, which is when you get the Poison EMZ, so it's not the best option for zombie boosting. I'd rather run Powder or Acclimate, but you know, situationally, especially if you have one in the box and you like, you know, you train it up with the training candies, which is just rare candies. You train that up, you know, late game, then you can keep Toxic Thread instead of running Powder if you wanted that for some reason. Toxic Thread does -4 speed and evasion and poisons on top of that CF effect, so that's great. You have Dual Stab, Wrap, and Constrict. Those are 60 base power trapping moves that deal residual damage each turn, 100% accurate, very solid moves. Scary Face is good on Evolution, that's great with Intimidate. Scary Face is -2 speed, -1 attack. Pairs nicely with Intimidate, like I said. Acid Spray is a great move for whittling the opponent down. Yeah, I think that's all the level up stuff that I need to cover. You also have, you know, regular stuff like Leech Seed, Encore, Siphon, lots of good early game stuff. Not that Leech Seed is an early game move necessarily, but yeah. Oh, also setup wise, you do keep Swords Dance because they had Swords Dance before. Swords Dance goes great with your priority moves or agility, but mostly with your priority like Sucker Punch, Seed Shot, and not First Impression. So you're really only using Swords Dance with Sucker Punch and stuff. But Nasty Plot is crazy. So Nasty Plot is great on it because you have this priority with Sludge Shot and Leaf Flurry. So, you know, you can click Nasty Plot, then click those two with adaptability, or you can use Intimidate to get Nasty Plot off easier and make yourself bulkier, and then you can take advantage of that as well. That's really awesome stuff. Not too much else to cover, really. I think I touched all the bases. Yeah, just really great buffs all around here. Super fun to use and very versatile. You can run offensive or tanky or a mix of both. You have priority moves, you have solid coverage, not the greatest, but solid coverage. You know, you hit what you need to hit. You know, Earth Power is good. You know, Rock Slide, Signal Beam, all the, you know, bug moves. Basically, you have Bug, Ground, Dual Stab, Earth Power, Rock Slide, Nature Power, Natural Gifts. That's about it. So, you know, it's not winning any awards, but it's good enough for sure. Yeah, Tickle and Sweet Scent utility, Stun Spores utility. Yeah, just a lot of great stuff here. Vine Lashes, so that's another good move in and cover. Yeah, Vine Lashes is great on physical sets. It makes physical sets much better. So Vine Lashes is very powerful. Maybe I should swap that and Acid Spray actually. Yeah. I forgot, I think this was but I buffed Vine Lashes a tiny bit at one point, so I think I get to change the level up order just a tiny bit. 32 is Acid Spray. Victreebel. 32 is Acid Spray. And then 34 is Vine Lashes, and then yeah. There we go. That's much better. So let me also change this on the sheet as well. But yeah, Vine Lashes is great. So essentially it hits twice. It's 35 base power per hit, which is roughly overall 70 base power. However, the benefit of Vine Lashes is that it's so strong. So essentially what it does is it drops defense by -1 each time it hits. So that first hit is 35 base power. Then that second hit is 30% more of that because -1 defense is a 30% drop. So 30% of 35 is 10.5. So you add that. So now the second hit is actually 45 base power. So 35 plus 45 is 80 base power. So actually you're at an 80 base power on that first hit, which is not great, but you know, the same power as like Ski Bomb and stuff. And it has the added benefit of hitting twice, which is good for stuff like Window Berries, Focus Sash, Sturdy, Multi-Scale, etc. Hitting multiple times is always great there. But then on that second time you click it, it does even more damage because now they're -2 defense after that first hit. So they're -50% defense. So 35 times 1.5. That's 52 base power plus another 10% because at -3 defense, they're at 60% drop. 40% of their original. which is so times 1.6, 52.5. So your second Vine Lashes is 109 base power, and then after that you're doing incredible damage on that third Vine Lashes, because at that point they're -4 defense, and then after that they're -6. So it's a great move. You know, early on it's not as strong as stuff like you know, like it's not as powerful immediately as stuff like Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant's incredibly strong. Power Up is incredibly strong, but it's still a nice option over Seed Bomb. But Seed Bomb is a little bit more consistent. But yeah, Vine Lash is a great physical move. You obviously can't reteach that, so you're going to be stuck with it unless you want to eventually delete it. So whichever set you run depends on your other teammates, your preferences, your nature, and your IVs, you know, so whether or not you run mixed, physical, special. The good thing about mixed attackers in this hack is you do have access to, not only do you have access to the infinite use ability capsules to swap between your abilities whenever you need to, which you should be doing often. Not to pick one and run it the whole time. I mean, literally to switch between them and change which ability you run for each specific occasion. That's what's intended. Obviously, you know, use one ability and don't ever change it, by all means, be my guest, but you're shooting yourself in the foot by doing that. You're not abusing the full potential of your Pokemon, you know? So what am I trying to say here? Something I was talking about with the abilities, and this is the last thing I'm pretty sure I need to cover, so after this I'll be done. But it was one more thing. I was on the tip of my tongue. Ugh, I lost my train of thought. Shame. Oh well. I'm really trying to remember that. What was I talking about, man? Oh well, I can't remember, so it is what it is. Reteaching moves? Yeah, can't remember. Yeah, that's about it, honestly, for these guys. Just really, really strong, really solid buffs. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you found it informative, that'd be awesome. What? Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome, but why the fuck did I say that? Yeah, I don't think before I talk sometimes. God, that's funny as hell. Yeah, if you found this video informative, and you're new here, is what I'm trying to say, you could subscribe. Very good impression, I know. But a lot of my other videos aren't as all over the place as this one is. I'm just a little bit all over the place right now. It's okay. Yeah, you can check the description down below for the link to the sheets. You can check all the changes for yourself. Obviously, this is in progress. It's not currently finished, but you know, you can see the stuff as it changes and stuff. Look at all the new moves, all the new abilities, all that great stuff. There is about 28 new abilities. Basically, every move has changed. There's like 100+ new moves. All kinds of all the mons are buffed in the same way that you can see here, you know, in terms of like the depth that they are buffed in. So that's awesome. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, just make sure you're subscribed if you listen this far and you're not subscribed already. You definitely should be subbed if you're listening this far. Dropping a like and leaving a comment would also help with the algorithm. If you want to do that, that'd be awesome. And I'll be back for more. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Bye.